please welcome Brian Kelsey.
When people find out that I do voiceovers, there are two reactions. Number one,
What's a voiceover?
number two is, oh, people tell me I have the greatest voice. And how hard could it be?
Okay, so first let's talk about what a voiceover is. The voice of an unseen narrator speaking as in a motion picture or television commercial. A perfect example of this is a movie trailer. You know when watching a movie trailer and all of a sudden you hear that big voice that comes on and says,
"In a town driven by competition."
That is a voiceover. We'll talk about agents and actually how to get voiceover work in just a second. But first, let's start with the equipment, because you need equipment to be able to record in your home and make a demo and get voiceovers. So the first thing is this, is a microphone, right? So you talk out of your mouth and you speak into this. There are a wide range of microphones you can choose from. For example, the one I use for my voiceovers is a TLM 103 from Neumann. That's $1,000. This one here is an Audio-Technica microphone, which is $99, and this is just fine. Really, if you're just starting out, you want something over $100. You know, you don't have to go crazy. I'll put a couple links down below to sort of help you out. Now it goes through an XLR cable and it has to go into your computer. So how does it get there? Well, you need an audio interface. Now it basically turns an audio signal, which is analog, into a digital signal that your computer can read and record. Now there are a number of audio interfaces out there, obviously a whole gamut. You know, you really want to look for something in the $200 to $300 range. All right, so now we're in your computer. How do we actually record something? Well, you need software. I use Adobe Audition, which I really like. It does cost money. You could use Audacity, which I believe is free. I have to check, but I think it's free. And it works just fine. Your ultimate goal is to create an MP3 or a WAV file. MP3 really is the standard for sort of demos and auditions, but for broadcast, you want a WAV file. So you need to be able to record and export both. All right, so we're locked in. We have the audio going into your computer. Now what? Well, the first step is to record a demo, because you won't get any work without a demo. All right, so let's have a real talk about demos. Demos need to be no longer than 90 seconds, preferably 60 seconds. Mine is 60 seconds, because the theory is if they don't like you after the first 30 seconds, 60 seconds, they're not going to keep going. Let them want more. So make a good 60-second demo. Now, you need copy. You need something to read. What I did when I first started out was I actually just started watching TV and listen for things that I thought that I would sound good on. And then I just copied down the words, and that's what I recorded for my demo. The key is to have a variety. So, you know, maybe you want something kind of mellow, you want something upbeat, you want an announcer sounding, you want an average person sounding, maybe a cartoon, depending on what your skill level is. And you'll have a nice 60-second package to send out and get work. Okay. So let's get to how you actually get work. There are two ways to actually really get into voiceovers and start making money and, you know, getting work. First one, and really the most important one, is to get an agent, a voiceover agent. So these are people who generally all they do is bring you auditions. You do them from your home. You don't need to go anywhere. You can do them right. You've got your whole setup here, so you don't need to go out anywhere. Back when I started, I actually had to go in New York City and travel from different studio to studio just to do auditions to possibly get work. Now you can just record it and email it. And they are good because, okay, they do take a percentage, anywhere from 10% to 20% of what you make, but they get all the auditions that you'll never get. They have access to all these different companies and huge things that you'll never have access to. For like, I did something for the MTV Video Music Awards.
Best Pop Video. No doubt, it's my life.
Now, how would I ever have gotten access to audition for that? I did, and I got it. But getting an agent is can be tricky because it's really kind of like, I mean, you could send unsolicited demos to every major voiceover agency in New York and Los Angeles or, you know, wherever. But really, you need to have help from somebody. You need to know somebody and have them vouch for you. So really, if you have a friend who either knows somebody at the agency or themselves does voiceover, that's the way you can kind of get in there and they can bring your demo on your behalf. But how do you find these people? Well, what I did was I just went on LinkedIn and I started reaching out to all different people, anybody who's connected to somebody, I connected to other voiceover artists, and eventually I got an agent, which is great. So let's talk about the second way to get voiceover work, and that is through an online agency. And there are things like Voices123, Voices.com, which basically you pay a fee, a yearly fee, or maybe a monthly fee, and they send you auditions, and you just send them in and just wait. Now, the difference is these auditions are like on the lower side payment-wise, and there's a huge amount of people sending them in, so it's not exactly... Get an agent. It's the only way to go. But you can maybe, you know, start out with one of these kind of online services just to get your feet wet and just to start auditioning and practicing, because that is the key, getting comfortable. Okay, so we have our equipment, we have our goal of either getting an agent or just starting to audition online. Now we need to really focus on how to actually read a voiceover. Now, a lot of times when you get a voiceover, it'll say, here's the direction. I want you to sound not like an announcer. That is like the main 99% of the time, the descriptions I get are, hey, don't sound like an announcer. Just sound like an average person, which is not that easy. It's not as easy as you think. It's not as easy as you think. In fact, it's pretty hard. So what you need to do before you even make a demo is practice. Practice a lot. Read out loud, read to friends. Send me a copy of your recording. I'll give you feedback. And then after a while, you'll feel really comfortable and you can make an awesome demo and become the greatest voiceover artist ever in the history of life. So I want to show you a real life example of how a voiceover happens in this day and age now that you can do most everything from home. So one of my clients is a TV show on HGTV called Log Cabin Living, and I am the announcer. I do the voiceover for the show. So I thought it'd be good to show you sort of the copy I get, how I'm reading it, and how it eventually turns out in the show. In the San Bernardino Mountains near Big Bear, Dan and Mariella are searching for their dream log cabin. The Sawmill and Pine Knot cabins are good contenders, hitting many of the items on their wish list.
I like it. We can be cooking here and all together.
Now at the Summit View cabin, they love the scenery, but will the price make up for the concern over the maintenance on the steep driveway?
We're gonna have to redo the driveway, I would say, right?
Looks like it.
Key is keep practicing, keep going, and really trying to hone in on your craft, okay? So practice. Subscribe, ring the bell, the whole thing down below. Links, everything are down below. You know what to do. Do your thing. And thanks for watching.
This has been a Brian Kelsey movie.